Hey guys, welcome back for another more advanced programming tutorial. Today we will use server-side programming again and MQL5 programming to create a trade copier where you can send trades from the MetaTrader platform on one PC to the MetaTrader platform on another PC also. And we will do this by creating a script on the server that we already set up. Or if you do not have a server and you want or you need a server for this tutorial, you should watch the video that I link somewhere here, because I explained already how to set up a free server where you have FTP access, so you can upload and download files from the server. This is crucial to follow this tutorial. So if you haven't watched this and if you do not have a server, you should watch it first. So in this video then we will upload a new PHP script to the server, really small script. As you know, this channel is mainly about MetaTrader programming, not really about PHP or server-side programming. And then we will also write a master expert advisor that you can use to upload trades to the server. And then we will write a slave expert advisor that you can send out to other computers or maybe your clients if you are an asset manager or something. And this will be the second part. And in the end, we will have a functionally program where you can send trades to the server using your master expert advisor, and then the client expert advisor or slave expert advisor can receive the data from the server and execute the trades on this end. So what do we do? Let's start by setting up the server. So I installed or created this OOO web host free server in the video that I linked before. Watch it if you haven't. And here in the dashboard, we can just go to File Manager. And what we want to do is, first of all, let's go to the public HTML folder, because this is where we can access the data from the public. And then I want to create a new folder. Here you don't have to do this, but I will do it now. And I will say YouTube tutorials and create, and this will create a new folder. You can open it by double clicking. And in this folder, I now want to create a new file, and I will call this trade copier PHP. This will be our PHP script on the server that we will use. Theoretically, we could also directly access FTP files on files on a server using the send FTP function in MQL5. But I tried this for OOO web host, and for some reason it doesn't work. Probably it's a setting on the server. I don't know. I tried it with my own personal server where I have the website and everything, and there it works just fine. So we will not use the send FTP function, but it doesn't really matter, because we can also use a PHP script and then work with the web request function in MetaTrader 5, which also works just fine. So open the file here for processing. And then let's write the PHP script. As always, I'm not the most professional PHP programmer, so don't judge me if there are things that could be done better. So what we want to do essentially is we want to send information to the server, and then the server should put this information into a file that we can then read with the slave MetaTrader 5 program. So first of all, we want to check if the information that we will send to the server, if it is even valid. So let's check if the post data, and we will name this post data text, 3 closing brackets. No, we only need 2, I think. So then if this post text data is not filled, then we want to die, or we want to end the PHP script, and we want to send the message failed text not specified, something like this. This is just an error message that you will receive if you try to get or to run the script without posting the right data. And then also we need to post, and you will understand later on why we will need to post the writing mode here. And if this is not provided, we will also failed mode not specified. So just copy the text as I write it here. I can make this even a little bit bigger. But if we have this specified, we can store it in some variables in this PHP script. So let's create the mode variable, and now we know that the post data with this mode or for the mode key is filled. And then we also know that the post data for the text key here is filled. So we will store this in variables, and then we will use these variables now for processing. So what we want to do is we want to create a file on the server. And to do so, we will first of all have to create a handle. And we can do so by using the fopen or file open function, which is a PHP function. And then we want to open the file trade copier.txt, which will be a text file. And the second parameter for this function will be the write mode, because we can either write a new file, create a new file and write to it, or we can use A as the mode. We will see this later on, to append to a existing file. So this is really important. So we can open this. And if we are not able to open this, we can die again, like from the script and return the error message, unable to open file, for example. So if we do it like this, and if everything was correct, we now have this file handle, which we can use to write to this file. And now we use the file write function here to write to the file, and we will just write the text or everything that is in our text variable here. And once we did this, we will then use file close. This is really important because otherwise the file might not be available for processing after we wrote to it. But doing everything like this, and if you save and close this, it should now work. So we can test this by saying YouTube, no, it's not this, it's René Balke, YouTube tutorials, blah, 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 like the URL for your website on this or web host or whatever URL you have. And then you need to provide the subfolder first. This is the one that I created, YouTube tutorials. Also make sure that the URL, it is case sensitive. So if your subfolder, for example, has capital letters, you also have to use them in the URL. And then the file is trade copier.php. And if we call this, of course, it doesn't work because the write mode is not specified. So let's not call this from the browser, but let's call it from our program. So let's switch over to the MetaTrader 5 now, and let's create the actual program that will then send the data to the server. And here, let's open the IDE first. And here we will write the code together now. So go to experts, create a new expert, and then we say trade copier master YouTube. You can choose any name, of course, click next, next, and finish, and this will create a new expert advisor for you. So what we want to do here is we want to write our code in the onTick function, of course, because we want it to be processed with every tick. And let me rearrange my code here a bit, because this is the style that I'm used to code in. And then let's make this a little bit bigger, and let's have a look at the onTick function. So what we want to do here in the onTick function, first of all, we kind of want to prepare the code that we will then send to the server, right? Or we will first of all have to specify the information that we will send to the server. So first of all, maybe let's define the URL here. Or we can also create a normal string variable for this. So our URL that we will use for the web request is, of course, the URL that we used before here pretty much. So it's this, and you will just have to use this as the URL for your web request also in the MetaTrader 5 then. And then we will need to have the headers. We will need to have the character post data array. We will need to have the character result array, and we will need the result headers. This is pretty much always the same if you want to use the web request function. Then what we want to do next is we want to say for int I is equal positions total -1, I is greater equal 0, I minus minus. So I will not go into the details here about the trade copier program, because I kind of explained this before for a local trade copier, and you probably watched the tutorial already, so you know what we are doing here. We are essentially just looping through all the open trades using this for loop. And then I want to have access to the position. So the easiest way to do so is to include the trade.mqh file here. So we can use the C position info class also. Yeah, actually, we do not even need the trade class here. We can just go with the position info directly, position info class, because we don't really need all of the trade includes. So now we created our position or C position info object variable, and now we want to check if we can select a position here using the index of this loop or the I variable of the loop. So once we did this, we now want to prepare our data that we want to send to the server. So let's create the text variable for this, and then we say string concatenate, and here we want to put data into this text variable, because the string concatenate, it will concatenate multiple text values and put it into the first provided string variable. So what we want to send is position ticket, then we want to always separate everything with a semicolon, and then we want to say position symbol, then after another semicolon we want to say position volume, and then position type, and let's also send position price open, and yeah, we can also like rearrange this a bit so it looks a little bit cleaner, I think. So if we do it like this, it's a little bit easier to read later on. So this is just the data that we want to send to the server. Wait, let me stick to my pattern here like this. Another semicolon to separate the data, then position take profit, and then position stop loss. So this is, I think, the data that we want to send to the server. So let me check if I forgot something. No, I think we're good to go. Don't forget to close the bracket of the string concatenate here. So now we have all of the relevant data for our position in this text string. So next we will have to provide the writing mode. So the writing mode is, we will store this in a string variable, which we can type mode. And here we actually just have W for write, or it's a small letter W. I'm not sure if it is important for PHP. And then we want to check if I is smaller than positions total -1, which means we are not storing the first position now, but we store one of the other positions. In this case, what we want to do is we want to say mode is equal to A for append. So first of all, when we run this the first time, the web request, we will create a new file on the server and we will overwrite everything that is written in the old file. So we will create a new file and we will write the first text. Then for every further call, we will just add more text to the file. And we will have a look at this, how it looks later on. So now, since this text cannot be provided like this as a post data, we will now have to provide all post data in the post array up here, in the character array. So what we want to do is we want to say string post text, and here we will just say, or we can always also string concatenate this. So what we want to do is we want to say in the post text we want to store it was named text on the server also, so text is equal to, and then we add the text, and then we combine multiple post keys here using the and sign, and mode is equal to, and here we have the mode. And yeah, like this, it should be already completely fine. And then we just have to say string to character array, because the post data is always in this post array. And here we say we want the post text to be stored into the post array. We start at 0, we want the whole array, and we use CP UTF-8. And yeah, once we did this, we should have the post data in the post array, and now we can just send it to the server. So response is equal to web request. We will send a post request, of course, and this will be sent to the URL. We do not have cookies, so wait, let's use the other web request function here, which is just requesting the headers, the timeout, let's take 1000 milliseconds again. Then we have the post data and the post array. Then we have the result array that we need to provide to get the result into this array. And then we have the headers, the result headers. And that's it. This would send the web request to the server as a post request. And now we can check if the response is unequal to 100, which means there was some kind of error. And in this case, it's always good to give your user information what's going wrong. So we can write something like server response is, and then we write response. And then we want to write, and the error is, and then we can say get last error, so we know what's going on. Also, we can say print function, and then we want to say something like server message or server. Yeah, let's just print the message here. Like the wait, we need to get the response first. String result text, and then we use character array to string, and here we have the result array from here, and then we say start at 0. Yeah, we can just do it like this, I think. And then we print the result text here. So this should be good to go. So if we compile now, we should see, hopefully, that this program is already working. So yeah, what we did here, just to summarize this, we include the position info class, so we have access to the C position info class. It's just easier to work with positions this way. Then we prepare all the information here that we will need later on for the web request function, actually. It makes no sense to do this inside of the for loop because we only need to prepare this once. So we need the URL, so the web request knows what specific program we want to call on the server. Then we will need the headers, but this is just empty because we do not actually need to send any headers. Then we need the post data, or the array where we want to put the post data into. We need the results array, which is empty first and then filled by the web request function. And then we will have the result headers, which is, I think, also not really relevant, but this is requested by the web request function. So we will have to fulfill this demand. And then we will loop through all the trades. So we use a simple for loop to loop through the positions. Then we select every single position, and then we will, for every single position, we will prepare this text here. Oh, also, I forgot one thing that we also want to add here. After doing this here, in the end, we also want to add this one more here, like a ending character, pretty much. We will need this later on in the slave array to understand when one position is over and the next position starts. But you will understand in a second when we have a look at the slave part of this programming tutorial. So yeah, here after we select a position, again, we will select or create a text string, and we will put all the information that we want to send for this position into this text string. Then we will also prepare the mode. It's either W for write and also can be A for append. And then we will create our post text, which will be the complete text, like a combination of the text variable and the string the mode variable, pretty much. And also make sure to use the same keys here that you then try to read in the trade copier PHP file here. So it has to be exactly written like these names here, or keys. And then, let's go back to the program. After doing this and preparing the data that we want to post in the post array, we will then send the web request. It has to be a post request, of course, because we want to send data to the server. And then we are just checking if it worked. And if it didn't work, we're just printing the errors so the user of the program knows what's going on the server, right? So let's now go to the MetaTrader and let's try to run this program. So go to the navigator, find your program, Trade Copier Master, YouTube program is it for me. I just activated on the chart. Let's see if we get any response in the experts tab. No, this is great. So we could have a successful call here. And actually this will be called multiple times because it's like in the onTick function here. So let's check on the server. If we refresh this directory here, we should probably, or if we go to the directory again, we should probably see a tradecopier.txt file now. So if we have a look at this file, we can see there is information now about our positions on the server. So we can also see like, it's not completely correct here, I think, because we are missing the separator. So I don't know why this is not really included. Did I forget to compile? I don't think so. So let's check this again. Trade copier text. Okay, now it is here. Maybe I didn't compile it yet. So we always have like the position ID, the symbol, we have the lot size, we have the trade mode. This is a buy position and one is sell position, but we will do the interpretation in the slave mode. Then we have the open price, the take profit, and the stop loss. And this is now created for every single tick here. So if we, for example, delete one or two of these positions, and if we go back here, we should see now the trade copier has only one, or the trade copier.txt file has only one trade here. So this is how you can do this. And yeah, let's open some more positions again, maybe to actually be able to read something later on with the slave. And let me use some more positions here. Okay, like this. So this is our master part, and it is already finished. So this will be the program that you want to use on the in the MetaTrader that sends the data to the server. If you want to work with clients, for example, you should never ship this to your client, because then the client will be able to send his own orders to your server, which doesn't really make sense. If you want to prevent this, and if you want to like combine the master and slave in one expert advisor, which doesn't really make sense for this use case, but if you want to do so, make sure to add another post data key here, where you, for example, have some kind of password that you then check in the PHP script first. Or yeah, there could be some more complex and better solutions, but I won't really cover this here. So this is the master program. It's already finished. So let's now go on, and actually we don't even need the on init and on deinit, but yeah, let's just keep it. So now let's head over and create a new file. So create a new file and then go expert advisor and say trade copier slave YouTube, or choose whatever name you like. Click on next, next, and finish, and this will create the slave part. Yeah, personally, again, I will rearrange the code a bit. Let me delete the comments, and also let me get the bracket placement a little bit different here. So like this. And what we want to do in the slave part here, on the slave program, we want to read the data first of all from the server, and then we will turn it into trading positions here in the slave program. So what we want to do first is we will have to read data from the server, right? So on the slave program, we pretty much want to do exactly the same. So first of all, let's get the URL, because we also have to address the server. And this time, of course, it's a get call, but the rest is kind of the same. HTTPS / and then René Balke, YouTube tutorials.webhostapp.com / YouTube tutorials. I'm reading this from my other screen so I don't mess it up. And here, this is important. You don't use .php in the end, because in this case, we just want to address the text file. And this is the file that was created by the PHP script, because we want to read from this file, right? And everything else doesn't really make sense. So yeah, make sure to use the ending .txt this time. Then the rest is pretty much the same. We will still need the variable for the headers. We will still need the character array for the post data, even though it will be empty. We need the result character array, and we will need the result headers. And then we can go on with the web request directly. So we say response is equal to web request, and here we want to send a get HTTP request, and then your URL will be URL, of course. The cookies are not provided. We will just go with a header. So the second version of the web request function, which is a little bit shorter. And then we have the character array for the data, which is our post data array. Then we have the result array, and we have the result headers. And that's it. This is our request already. And yeah, now we can actually see if we have data in the results array. So first of all, let's get the result text. And here we want to use character array to string for the result array. Result array, we want to say, we just want to get the whole data. And then we want to check if the response is unequal 200. If it's not 200, this means there is an error. So then we want to write, oh, wait, this was not what I wanted to do. Then I want to write print function, and then we want to write the error message again. So server response is, and then we want to get the response out here, and the error is, and here we also want to get the error from the MetaTrader terminal. And then also, it's always a good idea to print the actual server result message if there is any. But yeah, if the call was successful, then we can start reading the data that we now have in our results text variable here. So how do we do this? Actually, we just want to say string result. We will create a result array because now we can use the string split function, which will split up a text into different parts. And here we want to split up our result text, and we want to use the separator, and we can get string character or get character. And here we want to get the separation string here. And this is what we used in the master YouTube program or the master program. As you remember, we always put this separator line at the end of one position. So this is why we are now searching here for this specific character. And then we want to split it and put it into the result. Oh, maybe let's not use result because we did this here already. So results maybe, so it's a different variable name. And yeah, this will split up the result text into different subtexts pretty much and put them into the result array. So we can work with this easily. And now we can say for int I is equal to 0, I is smaller than array size, result, and I plus plus. And then we can print this first of all. So let's say I is result at index I to just see if it worked. And now if we compile the program and run it, we can see a lot of errors. So we have to fix this first. So this is not header, but headers. And also string get character. Oh, we will have to say that we want to get the position index 0. So we want to get this string value and turn it into a character. Yeah, this is how the string get character function works. But now we're good to go. So now let's deactivate the Trade Copier master program, and let's instead run the Trade Copier slave program. And once we did this, we should, in the best case, see our output here. And woo, this is not really what I wanted to see. Okay, I figured it out. This was completely my problem because, of course, the URL is completely wrong. It's not youtube-tutorials.txt, but it's youtube-tutorials/tradecopier.txt. So you have to provide the correct path to your actual file. And this error message was a little bit confusing. So let's compile the program again after providing the correct URL. And then now let's run the program again. Let's see if it works better now. So run the slave program, and with the next tick, we should see some information. And yeah, actually we do see some information, but this is not really what I expected to see. So let's have a look at the code again. Oh, yeah, this is, of course, I'm stupid. I should rename the variables completely different because here I'm addressing the result array, but this is, of course, this array here, the character array. What I wanted to address is the results array. So let's do this now. And here also I want to work with the results array. And yeah, if we do it like this and compile it again, now it should work correctly. So you can see we do get indeed all the information from the file. Also, the last line that we read here, yeah, it's not really working. So we can fix this on two different ways. Of course, we could also say in the master program that for the last position that we print, we do not print the separator here. Or we could also say in the slave, which is an easier fix, I think, we could say that we want to loop only as long as I is smaller than array size results -1. And this will also leave out the last reading that doesn't really contain a position. So like this, now with every single tick, we get the information about the positions. So now what we have to do next is we want to split the substring here again pretty much. So we say position, maybe we can also rename this. Let's say position string and then our position text. This will help us to not mess up everything like with the different arrays, and then always use position text here instead of results. This will help us to not mess up the names of the variables. So what we want to do now is we want to get another variable, position property. I think property is fine, right? And here we also want to say this is an array. Or we could also say position properties. I mean, it doesn't really matter. And then again, we want to use the string split function to split up the position text at index I. And then we want to split it up and we search for the separator, string get character. And this time we will search for the semicolon, right? And now we want to add all of this data into the position property array. So if we do it like this, we should now be able to loop through the position property array. And we can say, oh no, actually we don't want to loop through the array. We will just address the indices in the array automatically or directly because we kind of know how it looks, right? So we could also copy this from the slave and post it here. And then we can say, for example, we want to get unsigned long the position ticket, which will be, of course, position property at index 0. Then we want to get the position volume, which is a double value, position volume, and its position property at index 1. Then we want to get position symbol, which will be position property at index 2. Oh, and we will have to cast this or transform it to the types later on, but we will get a warning for this in a second. And then, of course, let's get, the symbol should be a string. Then we want to get the position type. Enum position type is position type, which is equal to position property at index 3. Then we want to get the open position price open, which is position property index 4. Then let's go on with position stop loss. No, it's take profit first. You really have to keep this order because otherwise you will mess it up. Position property at 5. And last but not least, it's position stop loss, which is in the array at index 6. So now we see we have a total of 7 values in our array. So a good thing to do is to check if array size of the position property array is greater or equal 0, because otherwise we will throw a error and we don't want this. So check this first before you do the rest. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we should see that the data is now stored inside of our array. And yeah, this is the warning that I already announced. So we will have to say that this is string to integer. Want to transform this to an integer value. We want to transform the position volume string to a double value, because in the text file on the server it's always stored as a string, and we will have to say what value it should be in the MetaTrader code here. And then string to double, and here we could round to a precision of digits. String to double, and here also string to double, and then the precision will be the amount of digits for the current chart symbol. And yes, compile. Wait, wrong parameter count. String to double. Oh, we don't provide the digits here. Okay. Whoopsie. So like this. So if we compile, now we should be good. Oh, this is a enum conversion. So we always also have to say this is enum position type, but now we should be good to go. We got rid of all the errors and warnings. So now, since we have the information about our position, we can now go ahead and on our slave account, we can check if we already opened the position with this position ticket. So what we have to do now is actually what we already did in the tutorial where I wrote the local trade copier. So if you haven't watched this video, you should probably watch it. But now I will get over the information here a little bit quickly, I think. So in the slave part here, we want to include arrays, array double dot mqh should be the right name, right? Yeah. And then we can create the C array double with the tickets, where we store the tickets of the positions that were already processed and executed. And now here we want to loop through all the trades on this slave MetaTrader terminal. So we say int I is equal to positions total. This is always the same, guys. So I don't explain this in every tutorial, especially because this is not a beginner's tutorial anyways. So if you are absolutely new to MetaTrader programming, check out the easier tutorials. Or also check out the link in the video description to learn more about MetaTrader programming in a complete and structured course. So we just want to loop through the positions, and also let's also get the include file for trade and position info. So we can also use the C position info class here to create the position object. And then let's select by index. Index is I, of course. And then we check if we found a position. And now we want to check if string get or string to integer. And here we want to check the position comment. If the position comment is equal to position ticket. And yeah, if this is equal, it means that we then found the position ticket here pretty much, or that we currently found the same position on our in the open positions on our slave terminal that we currently selected, so to say, or read from the server. So if we found this position, we then want to check if this is even inside of our array. So we want to check if array search first, and then we want to search for the position ticket. And if this is smaller than 0, which means it's not in the array, we want to say array insert sort position ticket. Like this. Also make sure to sort this array first, because otherwise it will not work. Oh, I messed it up. It's not a double array, but it's array long, of course, because we want to store position tickets here. In the onInit, make sure to sort your array, so array sort. Then you can use the search and insert sort function that we use here. Otherwise, it will not work. So if we found a position that is not in our array, we put it into the array. Also, we now want to check if position stop loss is unequal this position stop loss that we read from the server, because it could have been that on the master account the position stop loss was changed, or if the position take profit is unequal the position TP, and if one of these cases is true. Oh, also we need the trade.mqh file, because we also need a ctrade object here to modify the position. And then we want to say trade position modify, and then position ticket, position stop loss, and position take profit from the server. And if this was successful, we can have a print message if you like this. I usually do this, and then I say something like position number, position ticket was modified. So we know what's going on. Okay, but if we do it like this, it's totally fine. And then we need to fix the problems here. Oh, there's a typo. Modify, of course. But if we do it like this, it's okay. Also, if we found a position here, we can break the loop immediately. So we can break from the loop and proceed with the next position. Or before we proceed with the next position, we of course also want to check if position select by ticket. This is for the position that we read from the server. And here we want to check if array search first. Like if we find the position ticket here, if it's smaller than 0, so if we do not have it in the array, yeah, we then want to execute the position, right? So we say if position type is equal to position type by, then we want to execute a by position, or else if position types equal position type cell, and we want to execute a cell position. Also, what you requested, or a lot of you guys requested, was a input parameter on the slave terminal where we can define a factor for the lots. And this is of course really easy. You just write volume factor, and for example you say 0.5, and then you can apply this volume factor on the lots that you got from the server information. So position volume multiplied with volume factor, and then you should make sure to round this, because this could lead to some unwanted digits after the decimal point. So you should round it to 2, because this is usually how many digits are allowed for at least Forex pairs and everything. So once you did this, wait, what's the problem here? I think I messed up my brackets. Yeah, it has to be like this. So if we did this, we can now say trade by, and then we just have to provide all of the information like position volume. We need position symbol, we need position price open, or actually since we open a market position, we just use 0. Then we use position stop loss, we use position TP. This is just all the information that's coming from the server. And for the comment, this is really important. We need to add the position ticket, because this is what we are searching for later on here. So make sure to do not forget this. So this is sending a buy position, and then we also have sell, of course, where we say position volume, position symbol, 0, position stop loss, position TP. It's pretty much actually completely the same. Integer to string, position ticket, like this. And then, also we can add this to the array, but I think we wouldn't even have to do this. But yeah, let's just do it like trade, result, red code. If it's trade, red code done. So if it was opened or the order was sent correctly, we say insert sort, and we add the position ticket into the array here. Yes, good. Okay, perfect. So this should already be fine. So we are not running the program, right? Oh, we are running the program. So this is a little bit weird. So let's maybe check what's going on. Let's check if we get the right information here, like we print the position ticket and some other information like position symbol, and also maybe the array size of the position property array here. So let's see if this is printed in the journal. Yes, it is. So the data should be received correctly. Oh no, position symbol. I think I messed up the order. Position symbol is actually at a different position here. So position symbol is before position volume on the server. Yeah, it's really important to keep the correct order if you use this mechanism. So ticket symbol volume, and we stored it as ticket symbol volume, then type open price TP stop loss. Okay, like this should be working better now. So if we compile this and if we have a look here, again, let's see what's going on now. Oh, we actually see that positions are open now, which is kind of cool, but of course, there are just too many positions. So let's get rid of the program and let's first of all fix this before we have a look at it again. So wait, can I close the positions here? Close all positions. Hello? Yes. So let's check what I messed up here. So we sort the array, which is correct definitely. Then we check here for the position comment. We search if there's a position in the array. We insert it into the array. Search first. Position ticket is smaller than 0, which should also be correct. And then we open the position. So I don't really see the problem here. Oh, okay, now it's not opening any positions because I just realized that this piece of code that is responsible for opening the positions, it can of course not be inside of, it cannot be inside of this for loop here, because if we do not have open positions, otherwise we would never open some. So we should end this for loop here at this point, and then outside of the for loop, we want to check for opening positions. So make sure to not mess up your brackets. And then if you compile it again, now we should see that positions are opened. And yeah, also here we are of course not searching for this position ticket of the selected position here, but instead we want to use the position ticket coming from here, from the server, right? Yeah, but if we do it like this, we compile again, and there's still a problem. Oh, because this is not a function call now, so we remove these brackets. And if we compile this again now, we should see that hopefully there are only 3 orders opened. And yeah, this should be the information that we got from the server. So let's check this again. Trade Copier text. So the first position should be opened with 0.11 lots if it's rounded, or 0.12, okay, fine for me. And then we have 1.1 lot, which is rounded 0.5, or half of it is 0.5. And then we have 0.06, which should be half of what is written here for the last position. So yeah, this seems to work, and also like the position sizing factor that we use here is applied. So we could also use a factor of 2. And if we then go ahead and say we want to delete this, yeah, okay, it will not add the position to the array again because the data was not deleted from the array. And this is totally great, but we should still add some code so we can make sure that if a position is closed on the master account, it's also closed on the slave account. So for this purpose, we want to create another array here. And this time we will create it on the in the onTick function. So this will be a local array variable. So we will create it here. C array long arrays or array temp, because it's a temporary array. This is only alive in the onTick function. And here we want to count the currently open positions always. So what we want to do is like here in this function, after finding and selecting a position, and yeah, this stuff here can be pretty much the same, or actually we don't even need this piece of code because we add the positions to the array down here anyways if a position is opened. But I mean, we can also keep it here. Yeah, it's okay, I think. So what we want to do here is we want to say array, and make sure to sort this array here. So array temp and array temp sort like this, because we want to insert sort into this array also. And then here array temp insert sort. We just put every position ticket into this array, because this array will be created completely new with every single tick. So it's empty at the beginning of every single tick, and then whenever we find any position, we put every position in this array always. So at the end of every tick, the array temp will always hold the current amount or the current positions that are currently on the file of the server. The normal array, so to say, instead of the array temp, this one will only hold the positions that were opened, or it will only be filled if there is a position opened here, or if the open position was found in the count. Which means that the array temp can at some point hold less positions than the array. So this is exactly what we want to search for now. So at the very end here pretty much, so outside of this for loop here, we want to check if a position was closed. So let's go down here and let's loop through the potentially bigger normal array. So let's say for int I is equal to array total -1, I greater equals 0, I minus minus. So we just loop through this array. And what we want to do here is we want to check if array or if array temp search first if this still contains the value in the array at index I. So we check for the value in the normal or like the global array at index I, and we check if this value is still in the temporary array that we create with every tick. Because again, the temporary array here, it always holds the current trades or positions that are currently in the file on the server. But if the master account probably first sent 3 positions and then 2 of them are closed, it will then only hold 1 position, and it will only put, so the slave will only put 1 position in the array temp array, which means that 2 of them from the global array cannot be found here. So if this is smaller than 0, so it cannot be found, then we want to check if the trade is still open in our account. So we loop through our account trades now on the slave terminal and make sure to not use I again because it won't work. You should use J now. So, or any other letter or name for the variable, but usually you use I, J, K, L, and so on in programming. So I in J is equal to positions total. Positions total. So we're just searching for the position now in the current account. J, of course, J is greater equals 0. J minus minus. And then we just check, or we use C position info. Position, if position select by index, and index is J, not I. And then we want to check if array search first, like the big array, the global array, if this holds the position or string to integer of the position comment, which pretty much means that this position was opened by the signal from the master account. In this case, we want to close it. So we say if trade position close, position ticket. So we close this, and if the closing operation was successful, then we say array delete at index J. I hope I didn't mess it up, but yeah, like this. And if we cannot select a position, or if we, oh yeah, and then we can also say continue. No, wait, how do we do this? Wait, let me think. So now what we want to do is we want to create a variable here to check if position is open. So we say this is false by default, but if we then loop through the trades in our account, then we want to say if we find the position No, I messed it up. This is not delete at j, but it's delete at I, because we're looping through the array here using I as the variable for this outer for loop. So this is important that you do not mess it up. So this is how we do. Also, we want to create a variable up here where we can say, for example, is position found, and this will be false. But if we then loop through the account and find a position like this, we will say is position found will be true. Because then if we try to close the position, and if we fail, we do not delete it from the array, and we don't want to delete it from the array. But if we loop through the array and we do not find the position, then we can go here and say if not is position found, because this means that the position was closed, for example, before already by the user in the slave array. Then we want to say array delete I also. And we can also have some print statements here and say, for example, function position number, position ticket was closed and deleted from the array. Wait, how did we type it here? Yeah, I think this is correct. Yeah, actually we are referring to this. So we want to print array at I, and down here we want to print position blah 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 was closed before and deleted from the array. So I hope that I didn't mess it up here. Let's get rid of the errors that we see here. Is position found? There's a problem because I forgot to end one bracket here, but if I do it, I still have a problem. Probably there's one bracket missing here also, but like this it should work. And yeah, so let's try this out. So let's first of all, we have to remove and start the program again, because whenever I recompile, it will delete the global array variable and it will open all the positions again. So what's happening here is we will write the slave YouTube program again. Let's do this. Done. We open 3 positions. Great. We get the information. Wait, maybe let's do this one more time so we have the complete overview over the print messages also. So everything's deleted. Expert journal is completely empty. So let's run the program. And with the next tick, we see 3 positions. Great. Then, also, of course, if you want, you can add this code in the slave account in the onTimer function. Yeah, I explained it in the last tutorial. You can do it if you like, but if not, it's also fine. So we add everything to the array, which is great. So let's now close one position and see if it's opened again. By position closed. There are ticks and it's not opened again. Great. So what we want to do now is we want to delete the buy position from the trade copier text file. And I have to relog. Wait a second. So here we are in the file manager. Let's have a look at the file. Whoops, not the PHP file, but the text file. And of course, normally this would get modified by the master, but in this case, I will do it manually. So what I did is I closed the buy position here, right? So I will remove it from the file and we will see what happens then. So let's assume it is the last one with 0.12 lots, I think, right? No, wait. It was the one, oh yeah, it's the one with 0.12 lots. So if we delete the buy position here from the file on the server, deleted, save and close, then it should be deleted from the array, right? So let's see, boom, there it is. Oh, but unfortunately we delete one additional. Not what I wanted. So I will have to look into this again. Okay, I think I found the problem. So the problem is here in the part, like in this block that we wrote the last. So when we found out that there is a position that was open before and it's no longer in the array temp, which means that the master closed this position. Then we loop through the trades on the slave terminal, and here we select all the positions. Then here, instead of checking if the position ID is in the array, we instead want to check if we found the actual position that has the comment, which is the same as at position array at I. So what we want to do is we want to check if array at I is equal to string to integer of this position comment. And then we say is found is true and we do the rest. So with this modification, it should now hopefully do what I want it to do. So first of all, let's get rid of the program and of everything because I want to rerun the program. So let's run the slave, and we can of course also change the lot factor here. So the slave will trade bigger lot sizes. So you can see now we have these two positions and they should be the same as on the server. Of course, the lot size is doubled. So let's do the same test again. What happens if we close one position, the two lots position? Boom, closed. So in the expert journal, nothing is documented so far because it's still coming from the master account because it was not closed there. Now we go to this file and let's pretend that the master account closed this trade, and we can simulate this by just deleting it from the file. So now let's go back here, and now it should realize, boom, the position was deleted from the file on the server, but it was also closed before on the server, terminal of the on the slave terminal. So everything's fine. So what happens if the client or the slave terminal does not close the position and the signal is coming from the master? So for example, here we delete everything from this file, save and close, and then we should see, boom, it was closed and deleted from the array. So I think this way we are kinda good to go. So what I want to do now is I want to do one last test where I use two different MetaTrader terminals to check like the real-time communication between the master and the slave, because I assume there's still one problem that we have to fix, and this is when the last position on the master account is closed, because I think this will not upload the text file correctly. But let me set up the environment. So what I do is I take the slave program here from my meta editor, and I will copy it, and I will open another MetaTrader 5 here, and then I will paste it in this different or second MetaTrader 5. So we will have the communication in real time. So this is my second MetaTrader 5. So here I will now paste it in the data folder. And this is pretty much what your clients would have to do if you, for example, want to copy it to some Signal users that you have. So they just have to put it here in the experts folder. And once it's done, they can activate it on the chart. But first of all, before we do this, I want to rearrange this a little bit. So now we will have the master terminal on the right and the slave will be on the left. So let me set up everything correctly. So on the right, I want to have the master, I said. So let's get the master running on the right. So let's just run the master here. Okay, master is up and running. Maybe we can also delete the file here so we have everything as it would have been for the first activation for this test. So no file here, master is running. Now let's run the slave terminal. We run the trade copier slave. Let's say we use an input of 2, so we want the double lot size here. Okay, now everything is good to go, I think. So both of these terminals are ready. Oh, there's one problem with the slave terminal. Yeah, the error, because we on the slave terminal, of course, we also have to set the URL here as a allowed URL. So yeah, this has to be set, of course, for the master and the slave. So let me quickly copy this here. So expert advisors URL, and this is also, so I copied this and I will also define this for the slave terminal, because otherwise the slave is not able to access the server. And now it should be better. Okay, we still get a problem. This is probably because there is no file on the server, and this is something we can handle now. So yeah, if we do not find the file on the server, it returns an error 404, which means not found. So we will have to handle this in the slave code. So what we can do here is to quickly do this. If response is unequal 200 and response is unequal 404, because in this case we don't want to like print the error message with every single tick, because it's really annoying. So now we open the containing folder and we move it again over to the slave terminal, because I updated the code. So we'll of course have to update it or the file on the slave terminal here, because otherwise it will still run the old code. So let me just put this here quickly, replace, blah, blah, blah. And now let's run the program or the updated program on the slave terminal. And now we should not see the error message in the expert journal, yes, since the file is not there. Okay, but now we should be good to go. So what we can do is we can open a position on the master account, boom, and let's wait if it is executed on the slave account. It is not, which is not, oh, there it is, but it took quite a long time. Not sure why this took so long, but the execution was correct. Like the double lot size is now open on the slave terminal. Let's check what happens if we open a position maybe in another symbol. Sell position in GBP dollar. This time it was opened a little bit quicker, which is okay. And let's maybe open another position, and this should also be opened here. Yeah, there could be some problems if like both programs or both terminals try to access the same file. And then it just reopened some of the positions, which is also not really great. It's probably because if the client or if the slave tries to read from the file and it's at the same time when the master is writing to the file, this is of course not really great, because there could be problems because of this. So yeah, I think the easiest and best solution for this, and I should have done this in the first place, but it's much better if we prepare the post data in our Trade Copier master program so that it always pushes all the positions in the same web request. So right now we are using multiple web requests, which means that the file will be opened multiple times, and sometimes it only puts one position, or sometimes if the slave terminal tries to read, there's only one position because it's in between of the first, second, or third position that the master is pushing right now. So this is why we should only use this post web request if we have like in the text all of the positions, and this will also increase the efficiency. So what we want to do is here, we want to loop through all the positions, but we want to say whenever we have a new text, we just want to get the text out of the position loop here, where we loop through the positions in the master program. And if you are applying these changes, make sure to use the master program. We worked in the copier for the slave terminal before, now we are back to the master. So here we have to figure out that whenever there's a new string that we created in this text, or we will need a new variable. Wait, let me undo this and let's create another variable here, like complete text, for example, and then whenever we find a new position here, we just add it, or we just add it to the complete text. Oh no, it's also working. We can use the variable text here, because the string concatenate function should always use the text variable and just add this to the text variable, which is great. And then we should take all of this here and move it outside of this for loop. So we will put it at the end of the for loop, and then we only push it once, which means that the mode will also always be W. So we could modify the script on the server also, because we do not even have to send the mode in this case. And yeah, maybe we should do this. So let's get rid of the mode here and here. And this will like increase the overall efficiency. And then let's also go to our server, open the PHP file here, and then make sure that you delete everything where we use the mode, because we don't use it anymore. Because instead we can just say the mode is always right. And we don't need the A mode. And then save this, go back to the MetaTrader, and here we just make sure that now always the complete text is in this text variable, like all the orders. So when we use when we turn this text here into the post character array, it will now turn all the positions directly at the same time into the character array. So now if we compile this, we should hopefully see that the positions are still sent to the server correctly. But now, yeah, let's run the slave again maybe, but now always at the same time. So if we run the slave again on the slave terminal, it should still open the positions hopefully. Okay, right now it's only opening one position, which is not to, oh yeah, sorry, this was my fault. Let's get back to the program for the master. And here I'm just string concatenating. I'm putting this piece of string in the text file, but I still, of course, want to keep the previous text. So I will have to add the previous text always, because it has to be included in the text. So like this, it should now work. So we first of all put the previous text into the text variable, and then we add the new position. But like this, if we compile the master again, and hopefully one last time, now it should be good. And now we also should see multiple positions here. Yeah, now you can see the slave will also open all of these three positions. And if we observe this for some time, we should see that the slave is now not closing and opening more and more positions. So let's maybe add some more positions here to check if this is still processed correctly. There's another buy position, there's another sell position. Everything's working just fine. So what happens if the slave is closing one or two of these positions? Yeah, we're still kind of good. And if we now close these positions or other positions on the master, it should still not mess up everything. And yeah, these positions were closed before, I think. Oh, this is a little bit weird. I'm not sure if I messed it up or if the program messed it up. This should close out the position. Yes, it does. So let's do this test again. Buy sell 0.2 buy sell. So what happens if we close out all of the sell positions on the client terminal? Closed, perfect. And if we now close the sell positions on the master terminal, it should not close any more positions on the client, which is working. So now maybe let's get the sell positions back here. These are new positions now. Now what happens if we close the buy position? It should close the buy position on the client. We close the big sell position. We close the small sell position. It should close a position on the client. It does. Yeah, I think we're good so far. Now the last question that I have is, what happens if I close the last position on the master, and will it close the position on the slave? I don't think so, because right now, oh, it does. Okay, so everything seems to work just fine. Let me check the slave code one last time. And yeah, it works because we do not find the file. We still loop through the orders and we still close the positions. So this should be it, guys. I mean, this was a little bit messy in the meantime, but I hope you were able to follow along. I will show you the code one last time for everything so you can copy it. But if you have questions, you should definitely watch the video again. I know it was a little bit messy, but I tried to explain everything so it's understandable. And just take your time. Also for me, especially like the server-side stuff is something I do not do frequently, so I always have to like look up things from time to time, but yeah, it's all the process of programming. So let's have a look at the stuff again. So first, the file on the server. It's really straightforward since we now deleted the second post parameter. Now we are only checking if a text was posted. If not, we end the process here automatically. But if we have a text posted, we will store it in the text variable. Then we open a file with this name and we write to this file this text. And then the PHP file on the server is already done with processing. So this is when we can have a look at the master. So the master program should be running on the master account, of course, the account that is sending the orders to the clients. And here we can see this will, of course, include the position info file. So we have access to the C position info class. And here we first of all need the URL of the trade copier.php. This is the PHP file, which is really important because the master is always and only communicating with the PHP file. This is a difference compared to the slave. Then we prepare some of the variables that we will need for the web request function. And then we prepare a text string variable. We loop through all the positions on the master account. And if we find a position, we will then take the text string variable and put all of these values inside of this text variable. So we say we put the previous text that was already inside of the variable into the variable plus the position that we just found. So this means we will always have all the positions in this text variable separated, like position properties are separated by a semicolon and complete positions are separated by this one vertical line. And then once we did this, we now prepare another string variable, which will be the post text variable. And this post text will be text is equal to all of the stuff that is currently inside of this text variable, because this is the text that we want to post to our server. We will need this text as an identifier because this is used by the server, by the PHP script, to check out the, it's used as a key for the parameter, for the post parameter. So then we will push everything to the post character array. So we will transform this string value to a character array. Like a character is always just like one letter, for example. And then we will do the actual web request. It is a post web request. So all of the positions in the master account are pushed at the same time to the server. And yeah, we just check if this was successful. If not, we inform the user on the master account. So this is the master account. This is the file that has to run on the master account, the account that is sending the signals. Then we have the trade copier on the slave account. Here, this file is created like I explained now. We have two includes. We need an array for long information like the position tickets, and we need the trade class to open positions. Then we will create two global object variables. One is the trade variable that we use to open and close and modify positions. The second one is the array where we keep all of the position tickets of the positions that were already opened on the slave account. In the onInit function, we will sort this array. Also, we have a global input. This was requested by a lot of people, where we have a factor for the trading volume. Then, in the onTick function is where the magic happens. Here, we first of all get the URL to the file that the slave will read. Really important. in the end it says .txt, because the slave will only read from the text file. The slave has nothing to do with a PHP script on the server. This is important. Then we prepare some more variables that we will need for the web request, which we actually do then immediately. We will use a get web request at this URL with the text file ending. And here we just, we do not post anything, but we expect a result in this results character array. Then first of all, we will check, or we will just transform the result character array to a result text string variable, so we can work with it easily. Then we check if either there was a problem in the communication with the server or the file was not found. If there was a problem, for example, then we want to print the error message and the text that's coming from the server. But if there was no problem, or the file was just not found, but we were still able to send the request, then we want to do this part. So first of all, we will get the position text. This is for like, wait, what are we doing here? Oh yeah, we just split up all the information that we get from the server by this vertical line. So we have now in this position text array, we have at one index, we always have the information or the properties for one specific position. Then we will create another local array, which is called array temp, and it's always sorted. Then we loop through all the positions in this position text array, and we always split up this position by the semicolon. So now in this position property array, at every index there will be one specific property of this position coming from the master or from the server. Then we will check if we found every property in this array. If yes, we will get all the properties from the different indices in this array. Once we did this, we can now loop through all the positions on the slave account. And we will first of all check if we can select a position, and then if the position comment is equal to the position ticket of... No, wait, we will have to check, like this does not really make sense. It has to be like this. But in fact, actually, we do not even need this block here. So let's just delete it. And this was just needed for the program that I wrote for the local trade copier some weeks ago, where we had a little different mechanism. But for the local trade copier, it was not possible to close trades on the slave terminal without like having them reopened in the next second. So this is not needed in this program now. So, wait, there's a problem. I probably deleted too much here. Wait. Oh, wait, we still have to keep it like this, but we can delete this block. Oh, and I still forgot to test the position modification. This is what we still test. But let me explain you. So if we find a position on the slave terminal, then we want to check if this is right now the position that we are currently looking at from the server. If yes, we want to check if the server now has a different information for stop loss or TP for this position. And if yes, we want to modify the position. And then we can already break here from the loop because we already found the position. So after looping through all the trades on the client terminal, we then add the position that is now coming from the server to our temporary array here. So this means at the end of the for loop, at the end of this for loop, I still realized another problem. We should use J here always, because otherwise we could still mess it up. Like, this is really important. Good that I'm walking you through the code again, because I made a lot of mistakes so far. So we need J here. Looping through this array here will mean that in the end we will just have all the information, like all the trades that are currently sent from the master account in the temporary array. Then we check if we also have the trade in the global array. If we do not have it, we will then open the position and put the position ticket into the global array. Then outside of all of these loops, we then also want to check for every single tick if like the global array, if the values in the global array are still in the temporary array. Because if not, it means that the master is no longer having this position. And then if we see that there's a position closed on the master account, we then just close the position on the slave account also. And yeah, I just realized I messed up a bracket somewhere. Position ticket. Oh yeah, this is no longer a function call. So like this. Okay, so this is the whole code. So let's now check as a last thing I want to do in this video if positions are modified correctly. So let's open 1 or 2 positions on the master here. Everything should still work just fine. And we can still check if closing and everything is working correctly. So maybe let's close a position on the slave, like 0.4. Working so far. Let's close 0.1 on the master. This should trigger a close on the slave. For the 0.2, it is. And now if we close the 0.2, nothing should happen on the client because it's already closed. Perfect. Now we have one left position. We can open another one maybe and a third one. So let's now modify one of these positions on the master. So let's say one position should get a stop loss. And this was the stop loss for the 0.11 buy position. And the client is not really reacting. So this is something I still have to look on. So let's do this. So let me check this again. So the client is going through the positions. The client is going through the positions, tries to select a position, is checking if the position comment is equal to the position ticket. This should be fine. Yeah, the comments are here located correctly. So yeah, it should find the trade. So where could my error be? So we check if position stop loss is unequal position stop loss, or position take profit is unequal position take profit. Also looks kind of good to me actually. But still the position is not modified. Oh yeah. Sorry. I made modifications to the slave again and I didn't update it on the slave terminal. So this is probably the reason. So let me get the code again or the program again and put it on the slave. Oh, also, if you are working with customers, for example, of course, you do not want to send the MQ5 file to your customer. You just want to send the EX5 file. So let me get into the trade copier slave here again. Let's include the file here in the exports folder again. So now we should have the latest version running on the client, and I want to restart everything so we have a fresh testing process. So let's run the program again. It should open the positions again with a double lot size. It is, there is the stop loss. So what happens if we now modify the stop loss? Is it modified here? So the stop loss on the master is now 450, and on the stop loss on the slave is also 450. So let's check this out. Maybe on the slave we can also like open the same chart, of course, to actually see the trades. Chart window, and in USD Japanese yen we should see these trades now and also see the stop loss, of course. So there is the stop loss. So let's move the stop loss again in the master. And it should be modified in the client, and it is. So let's add some more things. Let's add another stop loss here maybe, or take profit. It is applied, which is great. Let's add another stop loss. Let's add another stop loss, or let's change the stop loss. And all of these changes are also applied to the client terminal. So I think right now, I hope that I handled all the errors. You saw this was also for me not super easy. I had to go back and forth, find errors, fix errors, but I think I will not like cut out too much out of this video. So you will really understand my process of thinking, like how I'm finding these errors, like what I sometimes forget, how I fix it, and so on and so on. This could be helpful for you to understand the process of creating an expert advisor, especially if you're doing new stuff. And this is kind of new for me, like working with the server and everything. So I'm still making mistakes if I write programs like this. It's not like super simple for me. But yeah, I hope this was useful for you to see how I develop or I create these programs. And I think, or I hope that right now the program is completely functioning and correct. Was closed before. Yeah, I think I covered everything. If you still find errors, let me know in the comments, and also let me know if you were able to follow along. This is a little bit chaotic tutorial, but yeah, I hope that I still covered the most important things, and this was requested really often, so I hope you really like this. And yeah, so this is it. Thanks for watching. If you're still watching at this point, congratulations, kudos to you. You really made it through this complex or kinda complex tutorial, and I hope that you learned a little bit here and there about MQL5 programming and maybe also about server-side programming with PHP. So thanks for watching. Have a great time. See you next time. Bye-bye.